right now I already have two data tables that I've added to this package that we're working on. You can edit, create the metadata for a data table from scratch, but it's, the way that you're most likely to do it is by uploading a CSV comma separated value file a text file that you've already created with a data table. And then ezEML will read that CSV file and infer a lot of the metadata for the table. So let me just do that real quick. Load. Now, this in the prior version, this wasn't true. That now you can have tabs separated and so on. It doesn't have to be comma separated. I'm going to pick a sample file here, upload. And now this takes me to a page. ezEML has that CSV file has been uploaded to ezEML, and ezEML has interpreted what's in it and filled in a number of entries in the metadata that it's able to infer. So the checksum, the size of the file, the number of rows in the table, and so on. There are some things that it can't fill in, like the description text of, sort of a text description of that table. So let me just put something in there. And it has found the columns in the table, excuse me, but and it has inferred a lot of the characteristics of those columns. There are 4 different kinds of columns. They can be date, time, categorical, numerical, or text. And I have some, examples of each in this just sample file. And it was able to figure, let me just real quick bring up the, this is the CSV file here. And you see it has a year column, a column which is a categorical variable, and so on. Okay, and that's what we're looking at here. So the year column, it figured out that it was a date time, and if we go and look at it, it inferred that the format string is YYYY, 4-digit year. It can't know the definition, so I'll put that in. If there were missing value codes, it would attempt to pick those up, and so on. Let me point out also, as we go here, since I've uploaded this table, there are a number of things that we have to fill out about this table. That if I look at check metadata again, so I'm going to jump down here and click. There are, under the data table section, there are a number of things now that have to be filled in. And one nice thing here is I don't have to go hunt them down. I just, okay, here's a column whose definition is required. Well, which one is it? I just click on it and it takes me to the column. And it's the second column was categorical. I'll put in a definition for it. Now, if I go look at it's a categorical column, so it's like a factor in R, it's a number of codes. If I go look at that, ezEML was able to pick up what the values are, but it can't know the definitions of them. So let me put those in real quick. Now, if I go back and look at check metadata, the list of problems with that data table is shrinking because I'm filling things in. Column definition here, this is, okay, now this is a numerical column. Numerical columns require, the standard requires a unit for each numerical column. There are a number of standard units that are defined by the standard. So I pick one here. In this case, it picked up the fact that there was a missing value code in that column. Here's another numerical column. Let's say this one has a custom unit. So it's a unit that was not in my list of standard units. So I'll just drop that in. Picked up a missing value code, which happened to be different in that column. And finally, the last column was a text column, so I put in its characteristic, its attribute. And now if I look at check metadata, there are no more problems with the data tables, so that's good. Now let's say one of the things that's been added is that you have the ability to re-upload a table, and there are a couple of reasons for this. If you modify the data in a table, so I go back to my sample table, and let's say I put in a value here, I realized, or I added some rows, or deleted some rows. I made changes to the data in the table. I didn't change the structure of the table, but I changed the data. Now my metadata for that table will be incorrect. The checksum and the size, for example, are not valid. They're not correct anymore. They're not in sync with the table anymore. So I want to re-upload. And there's another reason for this too, as we'll see later. We've set things up now so you can sort of in one click submit your metadata and your data tables to EDI. And so the data tables that will be sent to EDI will be whatever version you've uploaded. So you want it to be the most recent, most correct version. So I've modified that CSV file. So I'm going to go back and do re-upload. And I'm going to, in this case, pick the same CSV file. It actually doesn't have to have the same name. It could be, new sample or something. Re-upload. And now the checksum has changed, the size has changed, and so on. However, if I go now and look at one of the columns where I filled in a bunch of stuff, it's all still there. And that's the point, is that the re-upload lets me bring the data up to date without having to re-enter all the metadata information. A re-upload expects that the structure of the table is essentially the same. The columns are in this same order. You can have additional categorical codes added and that kind of thing, but mostly it's expected to be the same. And if I'm not clear on that, if I look at let me back up, sorry. Look at the help, it tells me more about it, and what things can be different and what things shouldn't be different. And if you're in doubt, you just try the re-upload, and ezEML will say, no, I'm sorry, that table has changed too much. You can't use re-upload.